Hello. Where did Jeff? Come on, Jeff.
We lost Jeff.
Where did Jeff go?
He's just
here. There. Oh, damn. Holy cow, how did you do that? You don't understand.
He broke the internet.
Wow.
He got so excited he broke it.
Wow.
He did.
Thank God his shirt is still down and not his gut showing.
Man, that could be rough, man. Look at
that would have been rough.
It's such a festive pose.
He could have been waving at everybody.
Fix your camera.
Jeff, you broke. Your camera broke.
Hey, thank all of you guys for jumping in and joining us for Retro Rewind Season 2, Episode 2. We got some great guests going on. And we can't. Hey, there he is. There's the leprechaun.
Yay! Your camera broke.
It's back. How are you doing, Jeff?
I think I'm lagging.
You're back.
You're back.
No, I'm lagging.
Oh,
crappy hotel internet.
Well, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
And we can definitely see you.
Now, where did you get those glowing 4-leaf clovers, man?
Oh, just at the dollar store.
That was awesome. Just a second ago, he was just in a plain white t-shirt.
Yeah,
and then
surprised us.
Yeah,
man, he changes. I'm not a part of your OnlyFans, so I don't know, but he changes fast, man. That was quick. That was so quick.
What does the shirt say? What is the shirt? It says
the leprechauns made me do it.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
Oh, Miz Tracey, you look wonderful today. How are you doing?
Thank you.
She does.
I'm good. I love St. Patrick's Day. I work at a bar, so like get to plan parties and it's fun.
That green beer.
Yes. Made them get the green beer this year.
Absolutely. Ray, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm trying to wake up with this time. We changed the time, so just drinking some caffeine here, but I am glad we got some awesome guests. Can't wait to do the show.
Absolutely, man.
Then we lost him. He will bring those people in just a second. He'll be
and he controls it. We can't bring anybody else in.
No, we can't.
So let's just wait. It's okay.
That's all right.
We can talk about how terrible daylight savings is, because whoever came up with that, losing hours sleep.
I have no sleep whatsoever.
Sierra, I think Halloween is the best holiday.
It is.
This is second.
I do. Ray was streaming and I was participating in his gaming last night, so it was 4 a.m. real time by the time I crashed, or after 4 a.m.
Yikes.
And then I was up to travel this morning. You can tell I'm in a hotel again with crappy hotel internet. So,
gotcha. How's the weather out there?
Ray, what have you been playing, Ray? Well,
Well, yesterday I got WWE 2K22. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and so the last game didn't get good reviews. This one did, so I said, you know what, let me take a chance on it. And I've been playing it all morning. My wife's been telling me to get off. I actually made a character called the Young Cyborg, and I'm trying to train and go up through the ranks. So that's been really, really.
Ooh, I'm back. Hey, did anybody get your crown when I left?
Whoop.
We lost it. There we go.
There we go. What just happened? That was new.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody. We lost everybody as soon as my computer went down. I'm so sorry about that. Jeff, introduce our guest, sir. This
There we go.
Not how it goes.
So I'd like to welcome Wes. Wes is best friends, or something like that, really good friends with season 1 alumni Willie Lowe.
Hey, Willie Lowe.
And a fellow Canadian. And Donnie G Retro, as opposed to Donnie, all the other letters Retro. I don't know, but reached out to him and said, we'd love to have you on the show. And here he is. So welcome, Wes and Donnie.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Woo.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. Jeff, you got some questions? Go ahead and start, man.
I do. So, Wes, we're going to start with you, and then Donnie will bounce back over to you. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your gaming history, and the most important question we ask every guest: what does retro mean to you?
Okay. Start at the top. My name is Wes. I'm 41 years old, and I enjoy long walks on the beach. And no, wait, what is? My name is Wes. I Canadian. He lived here in Ontario, a few minutes from Willie Lowe. I've played video games since I was, we got a Nintendo when I was like 7 years old. My older brother had an Atari before that. And yeah, I mean, I've kind of played games ever since. Played most of the consoles ever since then, PC games. Work as a game developer here in London. What else?
What is retro? When someone says retro,
what does retro mean?
It doesn't have to be gaming. It could be movies, music.
So for me, like, gaming's always kind of been the passion for me. It's always sort of been part of my life growing up. As far as retro and what that means to me, I kind of feel like I fall more on like the technical side of things. So anything like pre-HD, I sort of feel is retro. And then everything that I can display perfectly well on an HD panel is modern.
Interesting.
HDMI seems to be the line that most people gravitate to. There's a line, and it seems to be if you have HDMI or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly change over time.
Yeah. Especially as time goes on. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Donnie G Retro. So tell us a little bit about you, sir.
Hey, everybody. My name is Donnie G Retro. I am 43 years old, and surprisingly, I too like long walks on the beach.
We're going to talk after this.
It's kind of funny when you get around different people and you start talking about common interests and things just come out.
It does.
I have been playing video games since I was like 3 or 4 years old. My parents had an Atari 2600. I spent a ton of time in the arcades in the 80s and 90s. And just like Wes, I pretty much have touched almost every system there is, except for possibly I don't think I've ever touched a Neo Geo before. But everything else around that spectrum, I've had my hands on. I'm a collector. I don't know if people watching at home can see. I've got shelves to the right of me with sealed product, with loose product, just tons of games. My backlog is ever expanding, and I will never be able to get through it.
Of course.
Absolutely, Donnie. And later on, we're going to put you full screen so you can show us some of that stuff in greater detail, because that's amazing, man.
Okay.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Jeff.
What was your favorite arcade game? You said I'm sure, Wes, you spent a bunch of hours in the arcade as well. Mine, for me, in the arcade was 1942.
Yep.
But what
Classic shmup.
What was where did you lose your most quarters?
There were several games. Street Fighter 2. I was a big fighting gamer, and I remember just like it was yesterday, walking in, putting my quarter up on the long list of quarters, and just kind of waiting. You've got your tractor beam eyes on that spot of that quarter, and making sure nobody else touches it, so they can oh no, that's mine. Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter, any Tekken when that came out. There were other wrestling, like WrestleFest, WWF WrestleFest. I put a ton of money into that one, and I actually have a good story about that particular game. But mostly fighters.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. It was a lot of fighting games. That was kind of the heyday when I was hitting the arcades. It was Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat. I remember walking into an arcade near here and seeing Mortal Kombat 2 for the first time, and I had no idea that was even coming, and just being blown away by that existing, and seeing a dude come in and do the Kung Lao fatality and the Liu Kang fatality, turning into a dragon, just lost my mind.
He walked in like Vince McMahon. He's just like,
How did you do that? I mean, just tons of time spent in arcades that I was way too young to be sitting in, shady things going on at the back and that kind of
thing. Dark, dingy room.
That would have been bad. There would probably been a lot of smoking in those arcades back in the day. There was probably a lot of people older than us, cigarette in hand. I don't know about where you are, Donnie, but
it was similar. I mean, like the hairdresser was next door, so my mom would go there and I'd go next door, and so she was never far away, but she was far enough. But yeah, like games wise, like I said, Mortal Kombat was a big one for me. I really liked Final Fight in the arcades. I loved getting it on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
WrestleFest was another one that immediately popped to mind. NBA Jam, even though I swear that game cheats.
It does.
It absolutely cheats.
If
yeah.
the opponent has the ball with like 1 second left and they just tosses it up and it goes in every single time.
But I mean, you wanted me to get that quarter in to play that next quarter. Yep. If the game's close, I'm going to keep going. And that thing made sure it was.
Yep. Yeah, Mortal Kombat would do that to me too. Like I could successfully win so many, and then like no matter what I did, I would die. Like they wanted me to
just
pump
got
some more
pounded.
yeah, absolutely.
Those games still cheat. Some of those boss fights now are still ridiculous.
Yep.
Ray, yeah, I recently went back and played all the way through Double Dragon, like the through MAME. And,
nice.
And I got past the quarter thief part where I'd always die. Like I probably put $20 in over my childhood and never completed that game, but I finally did. It was fun.
And
Ray, did you play WrestleFest?
Of course I did. I actually I have it, and I think I mean it's been, I think last I played it was about 6 months ago, but awesome game. Even now, I mean, just the graphics on that game and the crowd and the characters were just awesome, and how they used to mimic some of the real characters in the WWF and stuff. I love that game.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Donnie, what's your story? Got to hear this. I'm dying to know. Your WrestleFest story.
So I live in St. Louis, Missouri. And during the 90s, I get dropped off at the mall with my sister, meet up with friends, hang out in the arcade. So mom would give me money. And typically it's like she would give me $20 on a Friday or a Saturday for my lunch for the next week. That's a bad move.
Yeah.
Immediately, that's a bad move. Giving a teenager $20, you're dropping him off at the arcade. Yeah. So I'm in there, and I spent pretty much every single solitary penny of that $20 playing WrestleFest, and I finally get to the end, and the end is Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, and so it's like the penultimate match before that. My sister comes in, she's like, "Hey, mom's waiting outside. We got to go." I'm like, okay. I'm just like, I'm cranking away at the buttons. Finally beat, I think it was Demolition. And then here it is, the next match. All of a sudden, 5 minutes later, my sister comes back in. Hey, mom's waiting outside. She says to get outside. And I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. I'm almost done. And I'm sitting there playing away, trying to, tag and whatnot. And all of a sudden I hear this, Donald, middle name, last name. And I'm like, and I freeze up. And she's like, you get your ass outside right now. And I'm like, and everybody in the arcade is just looking around like, who is she talking about? And I just like kind of start like shuffling towards the front door, and she's giving me the meanest look ever. Everybody's pointing and laughing, and he just got told out by his mom. And as I look back, somebody had saddled up to WrestleFest and started playing where I left off. And now that person has a good story of, I beat WrestleFest in the arcade and I didn't spend a single solitary penny on it. Yeah, whatever.
Man, that had to have hurt your feelings, man.
It did.
Now, when I got into the arcade, I would lose my mind. So like if it didn't have sprites or blinky lights, I wasn't paying attention to you. So I'd get grabbed by the back of my ear and pulled out of a place like that. They'd yell for me and I would just be zoned out. You got any more, Jeff?
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I got lots of questions, but keep going. Someone else dive in and ask. I got a lot of questions. I got collection questions for Wes and Donnie. We will get to.
Well, this might be
I got one. Your favorite genre. Your favorite genre, gentlemen. Yeah. Like RPG, first-person shooter, fighting. What is your number one genre?
Sports.
Or sports.
I'd probably say fighting games. First-person shooters, I kind of fell in love with for a little bit, like GoldenEye through like Halo sort of time frame. But kind of dropped off. Like the last Call of Duty I've played was Modern Warfare 2.
Good game.
Like the in 2009, I guess it was. And so I kind of fell off that. But like fighting games kind of went dark for a little bit in like the early 2000s for me. But then like with Street Fighter 4, it brought the whole thing back, and I've just been hooked on it ever since. Just played like a bunch of Street Fighter 4, Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11, and Tekken 7, and all that stuff now.
Nice. Nice selection. Thank you. Donnie.
Somebody in the chat had asked if we had Aladdin's Castle in my area, and yes, we did. We had Aladdin's Castle. I love that place. Most of the arcades in my area, however, at the malls were called Tilt. In the 80s, it was always Aladdin's Castle.
Wow.
My favorite genre of games, I mean, I cover the spectrum. I love them all. I love role-playing games. Not as much. I don't put a lot of time into those anymore. Most of my stuff that I play are action platformers. So games like Hollow Knight, I just got introduced to that game a couple of months ago, and I really love it. People have been trying to get me to play it. I know it's been out for what, 5 years now, 4 years.
Yeah.
And I've never. Somebody's saying Tilt at Northwest Plaza. Yes, I played there plenty of times. Holy crap!
Nice.
Small world.
I like games like Turtles in Time.
Nice, love that game.
Good.
And
Nice.
I actually have 3 world records for Turtles in Time for the time trials.
All right, you got to explain this to us now. You can't just say that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got a world record, by the way.
How did you even accomplish that?
So a buddy of mine who also does the Gamers Week podcast with me, his name is Retro Game Brews. And a couple of years ago, he was putting on events on Twitter, getting people together in the retro community to come together and play retro games, be competitive with them. And one of the games was Turtles in Time. And you had to, I think we were trying to get as many points as you could without dying, basically like a 1 credit clear. And then I started doing the time trial episodes. I started practicing those, and then looks like I was doing pretty well. He's like, oh, the world record for this one is like 25 seconds. And I was able to get like 24 seconds. And he's like, we got to get you the actual cart, because at the time I was playing emulation. And if you submit your world record attempt to Twin Galaxies, they don't do emulation. You have to have the original cart on the original hardware. I think you could actually do an EverDrive. They do allow that, but you have to use all original equipment. And because of his tournament and my tenacity, I was able to take down all 3 world records for the time trial stages on Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. So Prehistoric Turtlesaurus, Big Apple 3 AM, and there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head.
24 seconds.
Yeah. So some of them were like at the time they were like 29, 30 seconds. And I was able to get like 27 seconds on that one. And it's just all about finding, like, because if you go down to one area, then those enemies will go a certain way. But if you maybe go like one sprite over, they completely changes their demeanor. So it's all about finding certain placement and how you can manipulate that.
Gotcha. You just brought up a world record. So I was just going to bring up to like just discuss something later on, but I'm going to share this right now. I don't know how this guy did it except for listening like really close to the audio track of the game. But this guy,
he's crazy.
Blindfolded,
dude.
Blindfolded Mike Tyson,
yeah, this is incredible. And then he's not actually blindfolded.
Wait a minute,
he's got a paper sack
over his head.
Yeah, he's brown bagging it, but he literally like you can tell he's listening to the audio cues of the game, and that is what's in informing him of where he's standing and what's about to come at him. You know, it's all timing, and it's just remarkable. There's no way I could get a speed run done in this game or Bionic Commando, even though I'm good at both of them. But this impressed me right here.
That's crazy.
It's just
a similar thing with at Games Done Quick one year. It was 2 people blindfolded on one controller playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or something like that.
Oh wow!
And you got 2 people doing it. So one guy's on the D-pad, the other guy's on the buttons.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredibly hard.
I know they definitely did a blindfolded one. The guy, and it was one guy on one controller, and he played through the game fine. And I want to say the next year, there was 2 people on one controller.
That's insane.
Now, Donnie, you mentioned that there was not red tape necessarily, but you had rules you had to follow to get your scores counted.
Yes.
That's very similar to the Donkey Kong fiasco that just went down, didn't it?
Now you say just went down?
Anything, or not just, you know what I mean? Okay. It's been an ongoing thing for years. But
yeah, the same thing with Twin Galaxies. They if you're playing on an arcade machine, they want you to see, or they want to see the actual board. So they'll have you open it up, take video of the board that you're using to make sure it coincides with a legit board and it's not like a main board or something like that. And then you record your gameplay, and then you go back with the same video, look at the back of the cabinet again to look at the board to make sure nothing was swapped out. And with Billy Mitchell and that whole thing that happened, there were, I think, people who identified the fact that he was playing with a main board, or the something with a video that was not 100%.
The way it loaded.
Yeah,
it was the way it loaded.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was incredible. But I mean, I can understand their rules, but they never said that he faked like obtaining the actual score. He just did it on MAME.
Right. Yeah. He never cheated in the sense that like he was able to, do things not 100% legal, but he just played it on a main board where I guess he was able to maybe recognize patterns a little better or something like that, as opposed to just a legit arcade board. I don't know the whole thing. I just know the general specifics like that. But
yeah, what was the documentary, The King of Kong or something? King of Kong. If anybody wants to check out the Billy Mitchell story, or at least see him be braggadocious, go check out that movie.
Braggadocious.
it's
and buy his hot sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or not.
Go ahead, Jeff. Fire out.
I just wanted to get into the collector version, and we'll let the boys show us some of their collections. I do have a question though, something I've been wrestling with. I don't have a great collection. I've got a few things here and there. How do you, or what are your opinions on sorting the collection? Obviously, you're going to sort them by platform. So you're going to have your PlayStation 1s together, your 2s, your 3s, your Segas, your this, your that, the others. But then what's the secondary sort? Ray and I talked a little bit last night. He doesn't likes it by genre, but is it alphabetical? Is it just shove the crap in to get it off the floor? So what are your this is open to anybody. Will's got Will's got all this stuff behind him all sorted out. So just sorting. I'm obviously all my Maddens are all together on a shelf. I have them from youngest to oldest. That makes sense. But
so you're basically asking them, how do they catalog their inventory?
I'm taking a survey, an informal survey of how people sort within. Everybody says, "Oh, within the platform." Yes, but after that, right? Wes, what do you think?
So,
what do you do?
So the way I've always done it is I do it by platform. So all of my Xbox, PS2, PS1, whatever platform games are together. They're alphabetized after that, except in the case where they are within the same franchise, and the alphabetization would put them out of order in terms of their release schedule. So like, I don't have Demon's Souls. So Demon's Souls and Dark Souls are spiritually within the same thing. Demon's Souls would technically come after Dark Souls alphabetically, but I have it in front because it came out first. And then Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and then Elden Ring would follow, like Bloodborne and that sort of thing would all fall kind of after that. Well, actually, Bloodborne's just in B. But in the case of that, I usually just I do them by release schedule. Outside of if they would be unorganized alphabetically. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
No.
You'd love mine. Mine is sorted by, of course, the platforms. And that's it. It's all just stuffed in there by platform.
I don't know. How do you find anything?
I don't.
I don't.
I spend 10 minutes.
Ray said you don't.
No, that's I want to be able to play these games.
Yeah. I go look if PS3, I go PS3, Xbox 360.
Spend 10 minutes looking through the PS3 stuff. Exactly.
I was actually looking in my Wii and Wii U collection, and I'm like, I still can't find the game, and I think my son's hiding it from me. But I was trying to find Smash Brothers Wii. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So what do you think, Donnie?
Oh, I'm the same as Tracy, and I'm glad that she outed herself in that regard. I had tried to be a little OCD with my video game collection and categorizing it by alphabetical and whatnot. That was the extent. I didn't go like, okay, it's alphabetical, it's fighting genre, it's platformer and whatnot. Oh, this is a hybrid. I don't know where to put this. I tried it with my NES carts, and as I would pick up more NES carts, I'd be like, okay, this one's a P, down PA, P, B. Okay, all right, let me put it up in here. Now, okay, this category or this row won't fit anymore. I got to take this one off the top, move this one down over here. This one, take this, and it was just became a stupid process. And now it's just like, whoop, right there.
Well, how do you display? This is going to be the next segment, I guess. I have something to show you guys, but or maybe I'll just show you first and then ask how you guys display your stuff. But there's a website called Book 4 Games that I found. And I think this is pretty awesome on how you can display your collection and have it look like art on the wall. Right here. So here's a Metroid collection. Okay, so you've got the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy. You got whatever those are.
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. And then you've got this art cover or this cover art. Well, if you come down here, I'll show you what it actually looks like. It looks pretty cool, man. It could look like a painting. You know,
okay.
I like that. I like that
too. Now you couldn't fit a whole collection. I mean, you'd have boxes all over your damn wall. I mean,
right.
You know, but it's an interesting way to do it if you have
your
like
favorites up there.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be the holy grail, like games that I've searched at flea markets and like I finally this is
like Jeff finding. It wasn't mint. It didn't have a box, and it wasn't sealed or anything. But he come across Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64. Nice. And what price was on that, Jeff?
I don't remember. It was
$180.
$180, Jeff.
That was at the Milton West when you watch. Okay. Yeah, that was at the Milton Swap.
You got to talk.
Donnie, Wes and I don't live that far apart from each other.
Okay.
Relatively speaking, compared to everybody else in the panel, so that's why I make specific comments to him because he knows some of the things. Like we crossed the circles in some things.
Yeah.
But that was at the Milton. I was taking pictures of some of the prices. We talked about it in the last show, and I was sending them to the group to the hosts, and I'm like, check out these prices, and I just did not want to spend $60 on a Simpsons game, and it's
not at all.
No.
See, but that's the problem.
Go ahead.
No, Ray, go ahead.
I have a buyer. Like there's somebody that runs a shop and somebody that if I'm somewhere I can call, you know, just like what was that the pawn store when you want to know information.
Let me call my buddy.
Let me call my buddy. Hold on. Before I do, hey, dude, he wants to sell me Black Label Final Fantasy VII. He wants to sell it to me for like $100. What should I do? Okay, this is what I offer, you know, and then I do. That's how I do my business. So
the St. Louis area is a proverbial honey hole for retro gaming stuff, and I will tell you that I have gotten some of the best deals of my life. And the first one that really started me down my retro, like made me really passionate about the retro collection was about 2015. There was a lady who was selling, she posted on Craigslist. She was selling a Nintendo with some games. And in the picture, you see a couple of box games. You see Rob the Robot, the Vintage Entertainment Center, $25. Wow. And this is just by happenstance that I came across it because I was doing yard work with my wife outside, came in to take a break, and I was like, all right, I want to check my email because I was talking to somebody about a TurboGrafx 16. Check Craigslist really quickly. There it is. I'm shaking when I see that. I'm like, okay, let me email her. Okay, no, it's got a phone number. I can't. Let me call. Hello. And there's a guy that answers. He's like, hello. I'm like, yeah, I'm calling about the Nintendo. Is this price correct? He's like, it's what price is it listed? $25. He's like, what? Hang on. And all of a sudden he hands the wife the phone to his wife, and she's like, yeah, it's still available. It's $25. I'm like, okay, where you live at? And I found out where she lived. It was like 10 minutes away. I'm like, okay, give me your address. I'll be right there. And I ran out of that house. My hands were still all dirty from doing yard work. And I'm like, I got to go, honey. I'll be right back. It'll be 30 minutes. I'll be right back. drove over there with the quickness, and I get there, and she's pretty much got it all on the porch. It's the old entertainment center that you could put your Nintendo. If you flip the thing, it's the Atari.
Oh, wow.
Rob the Robot, the controllers.
Can't find it nowhere.
30 boxed NES games.
That's crazy.
Punch Out, Legend of Zelda 2.
You
Kid
struck
Icarus,
gold.
Castlevania.
Kid Icarus?
Yeah, I'm looking at most of them right
games are
here.
crazy now.
Yeah.
$25.
Wow.
So how long have you been collecting, Donnie?
Realistically, since the late 90s, early 2000s, I was the type of person that would sell my old system whenever the new system came out. So if I had a Super Nintendo and let's just say the N64 came out and I wanted to get that, okay, let's sell off the Super Nintendo. Same thing with PlayStation and vice versa. But then at a point, I'm like, you know what? I want to play these old games that now I can't play because I don't have them anymore. And this is before emulation was really popular. So I started going back and just looking on Craigslist, looking at flea markets and yard sales and stuff and picking them up here and there. And then didn't really start heavily investing in the retro market until about, I'd say 3 to 4 years ago. This is still, looking at Facebook Marketplace, looking at Craigslist for people who post things ridiculously cheap. And it's not like I'm out there trying to cheat them out of whatever they have. If you list it for a price and I say, hey, I'd like to buy it for that price.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are you finding the prices?
That's what I was going to ask Wes real quick, the same question, and then ask you guys the next thing. But go ahead, Wes.
Yeah. Sure, just in terms of how long I've been collecting?
Yeah.
So I kind of did much of the same thing. I wouldn't necessarily sell the system, but I would sell off games to buy new games. And I hate myself for that. I want to go back and tell myself not to do that.
Yes.
We were actually talking about this before the show, and mine and my wife's thought on that, as far as we've got a 2-year-old. If he has anything similar as he's growing up that he's collecting, is we're going to buy it off of him so that he can have the money, but we keep the thing so that when he eventually comes around and says, hey, I want this thing back, he
can enjoy it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But as far as collecting, so in terms of my stuff, we kind of ran out of space in our old place. And then we moved and all that stuff kind of went into storage, and I didn't really have anywhere to put it. So I kind of hit a point where I'd run out of space on DVD racks or what have you. The collection's not massive. I only had a few racks, but it kind of went into hibernation for a bit, for a few years. I just got my stuff back here maybe a year ago. A buddy of mine started. He's got an auto shop, a mechanic shop, and a / art shop. And he built me a big shelving unit that's takes up the whole wall and that kind of thing. And so now all the games can kind of get back in there, and that's sort of rekindled a lot of that for me. So it's really just been within the last year or so that I've started to really start to pursue stuff beyond oh, hey, that's cool at a yard sale or that sort of thing. But a lot of that stuff dried up over time. So yeah, really just within the last year or so that I really started looking Facebook Marketplace and that kind of thing.
Right on. Well, you may not have too much to say, I guess, about this next question, but since you both have or were collecting, because of the Weta bullshit crap that's going on, and people buying 20 people buying into one game that's $1 million some and all that, how have you seen that kind of stuff influencing the market? If you have any personal opinion on any of that, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw that it's boxed copy of Mario 64 selling for $1 million, and I'm like, that game's not worth that much.
No, not at all.
It's a good game, don't get me wrong.
And you're like, who bought that? And then you go look, and you're like, oh, 20 people bought that.
Yeah. And it's definitely had that really bad knock-on effect. Everything is kind of really expensive and overpriced and that sort of thing. There's some good deals to be had out there, and I've started to see it come down a little bit, at least in my area. But yeah, there's still the, I was looking for, what was it? A guy at work and we were talking about old Castlevania games when the Advance Collection came out. And I thought, oh, that'd be cool. And maybe pick up a Game Boy Advance, what is it? Aria of Sorrow, I think is the one. I might be messing up that name. But anyway, so I was like, oh, I'll check out, maybe I'll pick up a copy of that. And it was $180 for just the Game Boy cart.
Yeah.
Like there was no box, no instructions, no nothing. Just here's a cart, $180. And I'm like,
wow.
No.
That's basically what Conker's Bad Fur Day looked like. Like all the prices there that at the event Jeff went to, it seemed like they were at least $20 to $25 over what the prices should have been, in my mind anyway. But I emulate everything. If I want to enjoy a game, I'll just emulate it because it's so easy and quick.
If I don't have the game and I want to play it, I'll definitely emulate it.
See, I have the old retro. I got an old TV. I still use the AV cords, the red, the white, the yellow. I like to go back in time, and I just hook up the machines and stuff. So I go and I'll look for the original games to play it. But I also do emulators because I don't have a Neo Geo, and I really want that.
Oh man,
back in the 90s, there was no way in hell I was going to spend like $600, $500. It just wasn't worth it.
Now, when you go back in time, is it in a room with shag carpeting and wood paneling?
Yes, it is.
The TV is just a furniture piece on the floor with a screen on it.
Those ugly couches.
The TV's a small heater. You can put your hands next to it and warm up.
My first apartment, I didn't buy furniture. I just had milk crates. Guys sit on a milk crate, and I had a Super Nintendo, and I had a Sega Genesis. And I had the most ugliest TV, but the games were so bright and colorful and beautiful. Yep. And I would just play for hours, Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. But
So Donnie, you make a joke about that, but I was, because my parents moved into long-term care. Everyone knows that story. I've been spending a lot of time in their house, so I was doing some of my Friday night retro streams from their house. So I had it plugged into the TV, and it's got the carpeting, it's got the wood.
And it's never changed. That's great.
If you go back, if you look at some of my retro streams from when I was on location at my parents' house, the whole house is retro. Everything is just retro based in the house. So
while you're sitting there playing, were you constantly on edge, waiting for either of your parents just like, Jeff, stop playing those damn video games? You're like, it's tense the entire time.
Yes, even though they weren't there and they were in the long-term care and I was in the house by myself, but I still remember. Yep. And back when we used to play, run a bulletin board and do computer stuff. We only had one rotary line in the house, and my mother was picking up the phone, and I was getting disconnected while in the middle of something back in the the 80s and stuff like that. So you make a joke.
I'm downloading a photograph.
Right.
Stop talking on the phone.
It would take 3 days to download sorry, Tracy, an inappropriate image, and all it would be like, half of something. That's like, oh, that was,
and then it would cut out. The other half wouldn't load.
Yeah.
It was like, someone's back, and it's like, really, that's all it was? Oh my God.
I waited 3 days.
Downloading an inappropriate picture at
it's amazing. 2018.
Good thing you got an imagination, Jeff. You needed it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I watch my son, with all his friends, and they're doing multiplayer online. And multiplayer back in my days was all the kids in your living room in front of the TV. LAN parties, exactly. And I'm just
Halo days.
Just come and I'm like, man, you kids got it so good. So
what we used to do for GoldenEye back in its heyday is me and my buddies, we'd get together and we'd all just be spending the night at someone's house, and we'd each bring like a small TV, like 13-inch TV.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we'd have those. We'd take the N64, split the signal out to the 4 TVs, and then take cereal boxes and cut the cereal box such that it would cover everyone else's quadrant of the screen, and we turn off radar so we couldn't see anybody. All the TVs would face away from one another. It was great until we all got just way too good with proximity mines, and no one.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now I would just punch somebody's shoulder. Stop looking at my screen!
Oh yeah, we even if that ever came up, we had like board games ready that we'd stick the board out so that
Oh
it
my
would have
God, I
like
remember.
blinders. It was
Okay, yes.
we
Oh
went
my
way too
God.
far.
Oh my God.
I've
I remember
mentioned-
specifically using a Stratego board for that because it was a really big board.
I think I had Clue. I had a Clue board, and I had there was a game called Sorry, and
Sorry,
I,
yeah.
and I pow put them like right. Oh my God, dude. So okay, wow, yeah.
I feel less crazy now.
Okay, no, it
That's
wasn't
like-
you. It wasn't
Yeah,
you.
it wasn't just me.
So Donnie, how are the prices in St. Louis? What have you noticed?
It varies. I mean, there are people who know what they have and they price accordingly. Like, last weekend, there was a post on Facebook Marketplace for a Super Nintendo with like 10 games for $50, which, depending on the games, is pretty damn good.
Yep.
That's really good.
One game was Super Mario RPG. The other game was Turtles in Time. They had a couple of other games, and I'm like, made a beeline for it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
like, I'll take it. You want Venmo? I can pay you right now and come pick you up. Oh, hang on a second. I got so many more people messaging me about this. Yeah, apparently they're telling me I priced this too low, so now it's going to be $250. I'm like, okay, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Then another one last weekend, I picked up a Sega Dreamcast for $200
Dreamcast
with
is
11
awesome.
games. KO the Kangaroo, Skies of Arcadia,
Nice.
Rayman 2, Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, just a bunch of like 3 games there alone were $150 a piece, and the guy only wanted $200. So I was the first one to get on that.
That's a good deal.
Bought that, took the games I didn't have, put them in my collection, and then sold back
Yep, off the rest of the stuff. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I do to offset the cost is I take what I don't have and then put it right back into circulation. If there's money to be made on something like that, like let's just say the Super Nintendo one, most of those games I have Turtles in Time, I have Super Mario RPG, but a deal like that for $50 is too good to pass up, where I could take some of that, sell it, and then go buy something else that I've been looking for my collection. Now, if there is a deal like that, like maybe somebody's like selling it for $75 or $100, and I have all those games, yeah, I'll let somebody else take it. You know, by all means, go right ahead. If you want it, go get it.
Gentlemen, have you guys ever bartered? Like, hey, I have this. You try and come up to trade. I do that. I'll tell the guy, hey man, are you looking for this and this? I have this. I'm gonna put it in my bag. I'm gonna come see you. Let's make a deal. And
Yeah.
that's how I got a lot of my games as well. I was like, he's been looking for this. I've been looking for that, and we would just trade because I would have another copy of it.
What was the most sought after piece to both of you guys that you ended up getting to add to your collection? You mentioned, Donnie, Neo Geo. I'm infatuated with that system, man. I love the giant cartridges. I love the system. I don't
Like
love
books.
the pricing on any of
Right.
it. On the ones that are modded for HDMI, and they're just outrageous, man.
And see, I don't
But,
think
what
the
was the
Neo
most-
Geo, Wes, correct me. I don't think it ever came much to Canada. If it did, it was rare.
Yeah, I've only seen one a handful of times. Most of my time spent playing Neo Geo was playing the arcade games.
Well, the
Yeah.
games were like $500 or $600 back in the day, and now they're over $1,000 for certain ones. And
That
It's
close to
incredible.
getting it. I didn't pull the trigger because I was gonna go half with me and a roommate. And then
what were they charging for it back then? And what year was it?
We're talking 96, 97, and we're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
like between $500-$600. And
That'd be a
I was in
steal now.
Burlingame, California. There was a place that did retro imports and regular games, and I said, "Hey, dude, let's go half. But if we move out, who's going to get it? Me." And so we
Gonna
couldn't
get custody.
Yeah, I'm gonna get custody, but we just couldn't decide. But that is my holy grail system. That right there, like that's the system. I even have a square waiting for it because I got this. My wife hates it. It's these bunch of squares, and I got all my systems. And
Yeah,
I
same
got
here.
Neo Geo, like before I die,
Reserved.
it's like you gotta go there. So
Spot
I'm
reserved.
looking. Yeah.
Oh man, what? So, what is the most sought after thing you got? I know you don't have a Neo Geo. You said that you'd like to have one in your collection, but to both of you, what's the best piece you guys think you have, or what's the most important to you? It's kind of a hard question, I'm sure.
Yeah, mine's not in view right now, so I can't.
It is a
See,
very
Donnie,
hard.
reference.
I mean, I'll move the camera slightly over a little bit so
Yeah,
you guys can see more.
I'll make you
Nice.
full screen for a second here. If I can get it to work here.
So I've got my.
There we go.
There you
So
go.
that's the Dreamcast and stuff that I'm selling. I'm also selling a Master System with a bunch of games.
Whoa.
I do have a Complete in Box deluxe set that I was able to pick up 2 years ago for about $400 before they really jumped up. I do have a sealed copy of Goonies 2 on the NES.
Oh wow!
On the NES part of the shelf. What I'm trying to do is, if you see up here on the right, you'll see a bunch of black box NES games. And what I'm trying to do is get the original 17 black box 5-screw hang tab NES games to complete my collection. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 of them, and I still have about 6 more to go.
Nice.
Well, I see you got a 3DO up there, and you mentioned the Dreamcast. Those are two of my favorite systems. The Dreamcast was way better than the 3DO, hands down.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I love the jankiness of the 3DO, though. My friends and I would play a few of the race car games and a few of the other ones. But Ready to Rumble, I think, when I first seen that, blew my mind.
That was a great boxing game.
Yeah, it blew my mind on
was
how well it looked compared to the other games on the market at the time.
Right. And I've actually got 2 3DOs. I've got the Panasonic one, the FZ one, and then the Gold Star one that you see up here. I was able to fix the Panasonic FC one because I bought it from a retro shop. The guy said, "Yeah, it's just stop playing CDs or games. I don't know what's wrong with it." And I was like, "Well, I'll buy it from you for $60." He's like, "Okay, sure." I get it home, did some troubleshooting, figured out that you could take an old Apple CD-ROM and use that laser and swap it out.
Oh.
And I was a kid on Christmas whenever it fired up and started spinning the disc, and I'm like, I am the smartest man alive!
Yeah, makes you feel amazing.
It does when you can bring old technology back to life.
That's
What's in
just
your
game
cabinet?
programming
What's
right
in
there.
Yeah.
What do you got
What's
in
that?
the cabinet at the end? The I don't know if it's glass. After the
Yes.
white.
So it is a glass cabinet.
Is that Cobra Commander helmet up top? Or?
It is a Cobra Commander helmet. My wife and kids got me that for Christmas, or not Christmas,
Awesome.
my birthday last year.
Awesome.
So in the first shelf, we have a Complete in Box original Game Boy with a Game Boy sitting in there, a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance.
Virtual Boy.
That's a Virtual Boy with my Power Glove. And down below is Rob the Robot, and then a Streets of Rage 4 Ultimate Collector's Edition from Limited Run.
Man, I wished when I knew that, after they discontinued the Virtual Boy, I wished I would have went to every department store and bought them all up and kept them in the box for $30 a piece.
And it's the same thing with when Nintendo was at the tail end of its run, and the last games were like DuckTales 2 and Little Samson and Flintstones. Whatever game that was. I would have bought like all the copies for 99 cents. Sure. Yeah. And just stuff them away in a storage unit for one day. Like next thing you know, 20 years down the road, Little Samson selling for how much?
Yeah.
And I've got 20 of them. Bang. Let's go.
Now you've had some incredible deals and some incredible finds. Here's 2 things that I'd like to show you guys real quick on some finds. It's from a website called Retro Dodo. Rare sealed Nintendo and Sega games taken from abandoned store worth a small fortune.
Yeah, I saw this.
Like a dream.
Right?
All of them are still in the box, never opened.
Panzer General.
Now, was this the so this was the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis find that this guy had just Breath of Fire, so many Final Fantasy 3s.
WrestleManias.
Remarkable. Multiple titles, all in boxes. This guy's sitting on some nice stuff. But yeah, just crates full of this stuff.
Look
it's almost like you raided a GameStop from the 90s. Right? You know?
Yeah. They're out there, man. You gotta really go out and search.
It's a beautiful site.
Hidden gems.
It is. And speaking of that, I got one other thing I want to show you here. Now, this is a different type of find. This is almost like dumpster diving. And I know a lot of people that will get an old pinball machine and they'll restore the entire thing. It looks like garbage, but they'll end up turning it and making it look fantastic. I don't know if this is going to end up looking fantastic or not, but check this out. A rare cabinet.
Is that Afterburner?
That's the 360 one, the one that spins.
Yeah. The one that featured in Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Rare Sega arcade cabinet found discarded in a UK field. So this thing was just rotting in the field, man.
I would love to see that revamped.
Yes.
You can restore it. You take it to the right person. Restoration.
Yeah. All that can be redone. It's kind of remarkable the way they used to build stuff and what you could do with making it look good again compared to the new stuff that's just all throwaway, plastic garbage now. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that somebody found that.
Ooh, here it is.
That's a beauty. Look at that.
Wow.
It's like cars. Everybody finds, those old ancient that's been sitting in some farmer's field for 40 years. And, the Richard Rawlins of the world and those other people who find this, stuff. It's the same thing, right? They're out there. We just, maybe not Western Canada, but in the US, they're probably all over.
No one has claimed them.
Yeah, anything that's made of a thick enough metal can be redone, man. Sandblasting is like magic. It's awesome. I've done it a few times. But anyway, I thought that was interesting, those finds there. I couldn't believe that.
I've been to a couple of storage unit auctions, but I've never found anything remotely as great as what that guy stumbled upon.
Like
Storage Wars, they're always finding something. Every episode,
that's staged like you wouldn't believe. I got this NES. It's 001, man. I want $10,000 for it. You do know that 001 relates to the actual console, and 002 was a different peripheral, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've seen that episode, and I had the same reaction. I was like, "That's not even."
Right. This guy's all like, I just hit the jackpot, mofo.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Not a Nintendo.
Jeff, are you going to hit the jackpot? Have you found anything else at your parents' house? I know you found some Star Wars figures. Did you ever find any of your G.I. Joes or your NES?
No. There's a crap load of stuff in the attic. Wes, you know what the old 50s houses, right? We got the big attic upstairs that I just can't fit into. I need Miz Tracey's son that I can shove up into the attic because I just can't.
You gotta share the loot. That's what I'm saying.
Just cover yourself. Just oil yourself.
Still
up
me to this day.
up there, man.
I'm the one getting shoved into the attic. We're under the house.
Ray, you're gonna get him stuck in the attic, and we're gonna get a phone call in 3 months saying we found Jeff's body. He dehydrated in the attic.
Need child. That'll go.
That'll work.
I want
Can I borrow your child for the day?
Come in the attic.
No questions, please.
Right.
Yeah. So no, there's still a bunch of stirs. There's a lot of crap up there, and yes, we are in the process at some point of selling the house. Hope my mother's not listening to this podcast, and we're going to have to get up there at some point, but yes, no, I've not been able to venture up there yet.
I tried
to see what is up there, and I'm sure there is a gold mine of stuff up there.
I tried to scam my aunt. My aunt, when my cousins are like 10 years older than me, and they had all the Star Wars toys, like anything Star Wars related, they were purchased it, and they even had some that was still in the box. And in the 90s, I went and I was like, "Hey, I'm doing a Star Wars diorama for school. Can I get some of these things?" She's like, no." She knew that. Yeah, she knew she was sitting on some interesting things. I'm not even sure what they ended up doing with them, but I mean, they had all the toys. Like all.
It's funny. We were talking prices. I was in a store in Hamilton, and while I was there, I was only there like 15 or 20 minutes. 2 different people had called because they had found something, Googled it or looked it up on eBay and thought it was worth whatever, hundreds and hundreds. And the poor clerk's like, "No, sir, you have to bring it in so we can evaluate it. We just can't give you $500 because you saw it on eBay."
Yeah. Guy on the phone's like, "You're trying to rip me off, aren't you?"
And she says they never come in. Because they know whatever they saw is not what they have sitting in front of them, but they Google, right?
So I'm actually a gemologist, and I worked in a jewelry store for 20 years, and I had a lady whose mother passed away, and she came into the store and she's like, "Can you look at this silver bracelet with these stones in it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take a look at it." And I take my eye loop and I'm looking at the stones and I'm looking at the metal. Then I look at her. I said, "You said this is silver?" "Yeah, this is not silver. This is platinum."
Oh,
And the diamonds, they're VVS. Well, how much is it? If I was to sell this in my store, this is like a $10,000 bracelet.
wow.
And she was like, "Oh my God." She was trying to sell it for $200.
Oh,
Big one. It's a big one.
She was trying to sell it for $200, and I was like, "No, this is not." But some people would.
She's lucky she brought it to you.
Right. Good
Yeah,
on you.
right?
For actually
Me,
telling her.
my boss. If I would, hey boss, you want to take a look at? He would have said, "Here you go, $200. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
$250. $250. There you go." No, this people don't know. It's not silver. It's platinum.
Yeah.
See, it's stamped plat, and then it's 950. It's platinum. And so she was crying. I was like, "Go back, look at your mom's jewelry, bring it back. I'll appraise it, and I'll make sure keep it for your family.
Nice.
Don't let it go. That belongs in your family. That's your heritage." But yeah, man. Some people don't know.
And definitely avoid the pawn shop if you're selling. If you're buying,
Best I
it's
give you
all right.
$1.50.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right to go and shop.
I love
and
whenever
look,
I
but-
travel. I love. I don't know if Owenstown has a pawn shop, but that's those are things that I like to hit the pawn shops because they don't know what they've got, and there's usually some good. Donnie, are there good pawn shops in St. Louis?
There are good pawn shops, but as far as video game stuff, nobody really carries them. They either know what they have, or they don't know and they don't want anything to do with them.
So what happens when there is no more? I mean, there almost isn't anymore. But like when GameStop's gone and everything, and some of the smaller mom and pop ones are gone, you're gonna have to go to eBay for like everything almost.
Pretty much, and then
Or
you're
a
going to
flea
have
market, or
then you'll pay
Facebook
exactly
Marketplace.
what you don't want to pay for these things.
Yeah.
And the retro market has it's skyrocketed within the past 2 years, where a couple of years ago, if you wanted to pick up a copy of Snatcher, it was okay, $400. Now, nothing short of $1,000 will get you a copy of Snatcher for the Sega CD. And then you have to worry about people actually giving you a burned copy of Snatcher. Like a retro copy.
yeah.
So some of those higher price items, I don't want to deal with.
It's
Well, there's just less
interesting.
and less out there. More
Yeah,
are ending up in collections, and
Well,
Yeah, I
speaking of-
started to see prices like at least around me, like I checking Facebook Marketplace and that kind of thing, and seeing people selling stuff at like, here's the price, and then a few weeks later, I'm kind of browsing against same listing, but it's like they've knocked $30 off because now they're just sitting on this, and that's at least around here. I'm hoping that's kind of the start of that trend, that downward trend to kind of where they sort of should be, rather than this overinflated. I sent this thing off to Weta, and they said it's this, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a grade A. Oh, I want an A plus. Just unwrap it, send it back. Maybe we'll get a better guy. He'll give me a better score.
Yeah.
I used to go into some of those collectible places, and I've said this before, but you see the jersey in the glass, or you see the autographed Jose Canseco, and it's in the display, so I don't even know what they're called anymore. I haven't messed with baseball cards in so long, but the little cases that they put them in and grade them and stuff. I used to think that was like the holy grail, but obviously there's holes.
Well, there are so many products out there now, especially with baseball, football, basketball, hockey cards. The market is just flooded with cards, and people have okay, I just sent 12 of these off to get graded. This one's an 8, this one's a 9, this one's a 10. Okay, this one I'll sell. And now I've got so many different 9s and whatever that, you can sell and try to make some of your money back, but it's too much. In my opinion, there's too much product. There's too many cards. When Topps has 10 different brands that they put out each year, there's Topps Series 1, Topps Series 2, Topps Chrome, Topps Stadium Club, Bowman Chrome, and you're just like, what? Stick to one thing per year.
Yeah,
you don't need all this other stuff.
Yeah, and then there were guys at the beginning of the pandemic like Gary Vee going on talking all about cards, and it was the market to get into, and so a lot of people were jumping in with both feet because Gary Vee told them to, and Gary Vee, whatever Gary Vee says, people run and do, right? So there was that phenomenon too in 2020 and 2021.
So you were basically talking about burned copies and bootleg games when you're trying to get the original and the real stuff. I ran into this, and I like the more I actually dig into the facts and the minutia about some of these retro systems, there's so much more to these stories. Like, here's an example. Let me bring this up. Everyone is familiar with the Super Nintendo Super Mario World, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let me try to get the game going here. Everybody's familiar with Super Mario World. Well, do you know that they took Super Mario World and they bootlegged it for the NES?
Wow.
They took this game and they bootlegged it so it would work sort of on an NES. So this is the regular Super Mario.
Unnecessarily awesome.
Here is the bootleg of it.
That's the Great Value brand.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, it is, and it's vastly different. The mechanics
would have to be.
Oh, the
Mario
colors.
can't go down certain like warps, and it's very weird, but it is a
Who
different
did
game.
Yeah.
And why?
Right.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
most
not
important question.
Yeah, that is a great question.
And yet, I
because
feel
they-
like I'd still play
because they
it.
could.
I
'cause
would
they
play it
could.
as a curiosity. Like I gotta
Yes.
I gotta see all the little things that they've changed, because like straight up that Yoshi's
that.
house thing is not in the original.
It's not correct. No.
Insert Jeff Goldblum's quote here from Jurassic Park. You guys were too preoccupied with whether or not you could. You didn't stop to think you should.
No doubt.
or just the quote, go outside.
Right.
It's vastly different, but
That was horrible.
I know
Really
it.
does.
When I heard about this, I was so surprised. I was like, I got to bring that up and show it for just a second.
Now,
Anyway.
have you ever there's a system that was made in China called the Oyi. It's a PS4,
Not the Orya,
With
the Orya.
not the Ouya.
Ouya.
Oyi.
OE?
It's just like OUYE.
Okay.
And it's basically a PS4 with an Xbox controller that they were that came out in China. And,
I would love that. I'm sorry.
and they were
I love
selling
the
it.
Xbox controller over the
I mean-
PS4 controller for my hands. So I
Was
would
it-
love that.
Was it actually their hardware, or was it like a box that was supposed to work like that? There's all kinds. When you look into emulation, there's all
Straight-
kinds of boxes you can go buy. So
I'll send you a picture, but I was looking at it the other day and I was like, oh my God, it's a PS4 with an Xbox controller. That is weird. And it just has all these games that are in it and stuff. And they even said that they have Assassin's Creed.
oh wow.
So yeah, it's pretty. I'll send you a picture of it. You're gonna like, oh my God. But yeah, I remember when Soldier Boy had knockoff. He was trying to sell knockoff. Man,
Yeah.
remember that?
Forgot about that.
Dude, we can only deal with one Jeff, man.
Yeah.
Why is there two Jeffs?
Yeah, we're gonna.
happening?
Which is
We're gonna have to-
Jeffception.
Oh,
Double Jeff.
There you
double
go.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Crappy hotel internet. Quality Inn in Owen Sound, Ontario.
So is
You
it
want-
safe to say that everybody here on the panel is pretty much a fan of the Nintendo 64?
Love
my
the
God.
64.
That is my favorite retro console.
Love the 64.
Mine too, because it really broadened my mind and opened my mind
Donnie
to what.
shaking his head. Donnie, come
Uh-oh.
on,
Oh,
no.
Wes,
Donnie,
I think
you'd
Wes
love
is
to
in
know.
agreement.
Yeah.
Not a fan,
As
huh?
a kid, I traded. Like, God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this out loud. I traded my NES for an N64.
How many games?
There was more NES games than there were 64 games, but it did have like Zelda and Mario
Ooh.
64 and GoldenEye and.
Well,
Yeah.
I seen this and
Not
wanted to
bad.
share it with you guys. I thought this looked so cool. Now it's very bulky and it doesn't
Whoa.
look very portable.
Dude, I would still
hell
play
is
that. That's
that?
awesome.
It's a little large and in charge for my liking, but it looks cool. But here's a little
Like
Where
a
is it? Yeah.
GameCube and a Game Boy had a baby.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. It's basically
That's
an
a
empty
good
case.
boy.
He built this thing. And he describes how he got rid of the D-pad because he never uses it anyway. So
Right. Hats off to him.
Stick on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
These people are very
There's some very talented people out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
people that are bringing old stuff back and making it look new. And like last week, or 2 weeks ago, there was a guy that redid pinball and arcade cabinets, and he had like a warehouse full of what looked like garbage. But then upstairs in his place, he had a full working arcade where everything looked pristine.
Looked like Flynn's arcade from Tron.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I would have one of these and play it on the go. I know there's tablets and so much easier ways to play now, but I would sport.
I
that
would
thing.
play the shit out of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd be playing some GoldenEye. 007.
I'm not an N64 fan. Do I have one? Yes, absolutely. Do I have several games for it? Sure, absolutely. But back then, I was more into PlayStation. I was leaving Nintendo behind because after the Super Nintendo, I did get the game or the Nintendo 64, and I wasn't a fan of Ocarina of Time. I wasn't a fan of Majora's Mask. I wasn't a fan of the Super Mario. I know your mouth is agape because you're just horrified. I felt preference. Felt like I wanted to.
It's preference. It's preference. We understand.
Yeah, I wanted to be more adult, and the PlayStation had more adult games that I liked with
that makes
with
sense,
more
I guess.
adult themes. And I'm not. I'm talking about like, terror and horror and survival horror and gore and stuff. And I'm just like, yes, this is me, Mario. Sorry, but I got to go now.
Yeah, Nintendo is kid friendly for sure.
Right,
yeah.
and that's the way it kind of used to always be. But I did play a lot of GoldenEye. I played a lot of WWF No Mercy, WCW, NWO Revenge. The THQ wrestling games on the Nintendo 64 are some of the best wrestling titles ever created. But that was pretty much what I played on the N64, and I left everything else behind.
Yeah, I'm basically in the same boat. Like the N64 came out when I was just about 17, and like PlayStation had Resident Evil and Parasite Eve, Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, this Diddy Kong Racing is not really doing it for me anymore, And I hate myself for this, but I had the full box gold cart Zelda and got rid of it. And used that to buy my PS1. I have one back, but man, that was not a fun experience tracking one of those.
Did you have the little red expansion pack? In your
not at the time. No, I had gotten rid of it by the time that came out.
Gotcha.
I have one now.
Make you jealous.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, you don't like it, so I'll take it.
Got it the day of, and just did not.
This one.
I did not like that game.
It's funny so they can see that's sealed.
It's not sealed. It's just
not.
It's in a protective casing. The same with this one.
God, I wish I had the cover because my boxes are all kind of crappy looking now.
Yeah,
I got these from. I bought a guy's collection last year. He was selling some GameCube Resident Evil games, and pretty cheap.
I was just going to mention that, Mr. Urban World, that they didn't have Dino Crisis on 64 either.
No, they didn't. That was only on PlayStation.
That was an interesting game. I like that one.
I thought Capcom was just about to announce a new one, and then they called it something else.
So did everybody.
It's Dino Crisis?
No, you're getting Overwatch, but with dinosaurs.
But you're Perfect Dark. There was a lot of games by Rare that were amazing.
Yes.
Were amazing.
Great publisher.
So,
there's some great games on the N64. Just, I think for me at the time, it wasn't for me anymore.
See, I did half and half. I had my Nintendo fix and I had my PlayStation fix. So,
but if you had both, best of both worlds.
That's what I do.
That's what Xbox and Halo.
My dad's like, so what system you want? I want them all, Dad.
I want the Neo Geo. Think again, boy.
Hey, you guys remember Game Pro, Electric Game Monthly?
Oh, yeah.
And then all the big magazines that used to come from the UK. I didn't want to miss out on something. So,
me neither.
Yeah, I got it. I got it all. I had to.
Were you guys excited to get your demo discs when you had the PlayStation?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was before you could just go online and check a game out real quick. You know what I mean?
We were just talking about like where are the demo discs? Where are the
They
playable demos of
stopped.
games that you can just download and say, okay, you know what, this game is for me. I'll go out and shell $60 on launch day, or nope, sorry, not for me. I think I can wait.
Or you just play the demo over and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
there you go.
I have a disc. I got a disc thing of demos. That hell, I used to even look. I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember this, guys?
Yeah, I have that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
I used to like what? 3
If you're
games on a
If
disc.
you're gonna share a little bit, Ray, I'm gonna make full screen.
All right, here you go. There you go. So look at that. Virtual Fighter 2, Virtual
nice.
Cop, and I have the gun. And oh my god, come on. Daytona. USA. Come on.
Virtue Cop and Time
Free
Crisis,
games.
man, were amazing.
Yeah. And then
Daytona.
yeah. So
No way.
oh man. Good old days.
Shout out to Donnie for able to find those very quickly. It must have been in the Z section. And
No, I told you,
seem
I've
to
got
grab those
everything
pretty-
separated by platform.
Yeah.
My N64 library isn't that great, so
Gotcha. I
yeah,
love
we're
it.
like-
I got mostly wrestling, and that's what made the system. I'll be honest. If
yeah.
it wasn't for the wrestling games in 007.
Yeah.
So
GoldenEye was one of my favorites. We wouldn't tape the screen off, you know. We would just suffer, you know, with trying to pay attention to yours. But I caught my buddy. He was so good at this game. We would do we would either do the grenade launchers only, or because you could ricochet them and bounce.
Yeah.
Or we would do the golden gun, 1-hit kill or 1-shot kill. And my buddy was like fantastic at this until I figured out how he was beating everybody. He wasn't watching the screen and looking for people running. He was watching his hand. And when his hand would go like this, he was locked onto somebody and he'd just shoot and it'd kill us. Yeah.
Did you have the house rule of no odd job?
What's that?
Did you have the house rule of no odd job?
Yes. No. Yeah. Because no, we wouldn't use him. Too bad Ray can't show us
Urban World,
his
I
light guns.
do have the light gun. It's over here. You know, come on, dude. I collect guns, man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't make-
Donnie, I see you've got the Super Nintendo light gun there.
Yes, I do.
Oh my god. Remember that? Remember the game?
Yeah.
What was that
Show us-
game? Battle.
Show us
was the
that and
game?
tell us about a couple of the games. Because that thing, I'm telling you, when you had the zapper, you felt like awesome shooting those ducks.
What was
But
that
when you
thing
had
called, the
that
battle
thing,
scope?
you were ready for war.
Was that
The
Battle
only-
Scope? What was it?
The only Super
Battle
Scope.
Scope or Super Scope. Yeah.
Yeah, the only game I
thinking-
remember was the game that actually came with this. It was the I don't remember that. I think it was called Super Scope, something like that.
Super Scope 6.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
They had multiple games in it, though, didn't they? Or was
I
it?
think
Yeah, it
so.
was like 6 mini game.
Yeah.
thing, yeah,
that
shoot down the
gun is
missiles and
clean. Look
targets.
at that.
That's epic.
That
is
is
beautiful.
awesome.
The there was a couple other games that used it. Battle Clash and Battle Clash 2. It was like you're in like a mech fight. It was kind of fighting game ish. It was like 1-on-1 against another mech. The sequel had multiplayer where someone with a controller could play as the robot on screen, but it turns out that having a controller makes the game super easy for you.
Does it?
If you just have a gun and the other person can move, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, you can't shoot those guns on the flat screens.
Oh,
anymore,
no.
you know.
Oh
Nope. That don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should.
No,
come out-
I talked about this a couple weeks. Metal Jesus, he did a video of somebody who made a thing that you can shoot on your flat screen.
Yeah, there is a new one out.
He did a video a month or
or something like that.
That
So,
technology
that
is
works
not
for
beyond
HDMI.
me.
I love all those shooting games.
I
I
always
think
thought it was magic.
Time Crisis is one of my favorite series, man. I'd go waste all kinds of money in the arcade playing that
Oh yeah,
game.
with the pedal and everything. Like
Yeah, you could dodge or duck behind stuff. Yeah, pop out.
I
I
have a
love
soft
that.
spot for Lethal Enforcers.
yes.
Why those hostages and
Oh, God.
would just run out in front of me like that? I have no idea, but
Like I'm
Even the-
sorry, I'm sorry.
Even the Terminator games with the big guns and
Yes.
I loved all that stuff.
Ah.
Even the Jurassic Park one. All those.
We were
games.
talking about the what your favorite arcade shooter was on our
Narc.
podcast, and mine actually, Narc was great. Mine was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Just
That was better.
how the Uzi would
That
vibrate and everything.
That was
Yep.
better.
The
Yeah,
Uzi,
close-
it felt like you had real power in your hand. You were
Oh,
actually
absolutely.
shooting, and yeah.
At the end button with the bombs and everything. And a close second was Revolution X by Aerosmith that came out in the 90s. And
Oh my
surprisingly,
They made a
God,
horrible
remember that?
port. They made a
After-
horrible port.
yeah, on the Super
horrible
Nintendo.
port.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sega Genesis. And
That's
after
what
we
I
talked
remember.
About that, after we talked about that, guess what started popping up in my area? Revolution X arcade cabinets. This one's for $500. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, honey, can I get this? She's like, they're listening.
Yeah. Well, whenever they look at you and go, "What are you getting rid of?" You have decisions to make.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I
Right.
don't understand that question.
Right. Does not compute.
Aerosmith, that was like that was back. I hate when they were just the classics, man. The classics.
They'll never die.
Yeah. No. That's for sure.
If I
man.
have anything to say about it.
Yeah.
So my dog was being an asshole, so I'm muted. But I really like the newer one, the Halo Fireteam Raven one. I was super psyched to finally beat that because, like, now with my health issues, the big, huge gun like that is really hard to control.
Oh, I
So
bet.
when I finally beat it, I was like, yes.
Awesome.
Spent like 20
All
bucks,
victories.
but
Man, I emulated. Oh, what the hell is it called? Oh, that's horrible. I've mentioned it a whole bunch of times. All right, brain fart. Oh, what is it called? Anyway, I ran out of coins. My emulator, I don't know how to. There's no button on the keyboard or anything for add coins, so it gives you five coins. Metal
You have to
Slug,
start all over?
Metal
Oh,
Slug
Metal
1
Slug.
and 2.
Okay.
I could get to like the
Geo.
third level about halfway through. That's about it. I have to have some more coins. Did you guys enjoy Metal Slug?
I was
Yes.
terrible at Metal Slug. I loved it, but man, that game just tore me apart. Like, that game does not like me with a passion.
The art style I find so amazing.
Yeah, they were gorgeous games. All the Neo Geo stuff just had those real
Dude.
gorgeous pixel graphics, and that just always drew me to the
Shout out to SNK, man. I met Atari
Sam
Warrior,
Show and
Atari Warriors,
Yeah.
1942, 1943.
Yeah, and at one point they were gonna the Neo Geo, man, they were focused on revolutionizing the arcade industry. Basically, you could take a memory card from your home, from your Neo Geo, and go and finish your game in the arcade.
I thought that was
Amazing
the
stuff.
coolest thing when I was a kid. As soon as
Yeah.
I'd heard about that, I was like, really? It's amazing.
Yeah, not for me, but for some rich
No,
kid
yeah.
on their way home from
I'm
school
never
or
kidding.
to school
Man,
could pull
that's
out
cool.
that memory card. And,
Oh, you don't have a Neo Geo? Don't talk to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not invited. Oh man, have you guys checked out any of the retro game consoles they released, like the NES, the Super NES? That's got like 20 games and stuff. What are you
Yes.
guys' experience with those?
That's a fun trip. I like the collection of games that they have on the. I've got the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, the Super Nintendo Mini. I didn't pick up the Sega Genesis or the PS1 yet. I will at some point whenever they're a little bit cheaper for me to get. But I like how people can actually hack them and put the entire library on that system. I mean, who doesn't? Who wouldn't want that?
I'm shocked they sold it with that capability at all.
Yeah, me too. But
I mean, to be honest, I
when you
know
talk
it's up
about
to the
these
person
games-
to load it however they want, but
yeah,
um,
look,
Those were just emulators themselves, right? Like,
right.
true.
yeah.
Dude, it was amazing playing Tecmo Bowl on my screen, HDMI, nice colors, and
Shout out to Tecmo Bowl. What a fun football game, man.
dude. And somebody, I got a updated Tecmo Bowl too, with updated rosters, updated teams. That was just like wow. And here, this is the only look. I have this
Nice,
still,
very nice.
and it has everything in here. I don't even like the. Oh, there you go. It's sealed.
Who's your favorite team or player on that game?
Come on, dude. Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, man.
There's
Jackson.
there's a no Bo Jackson rule or a no
Yes.
Raiders rule when you play most people. They're like, nope.
Yes,
can't
there
use
is. That's why Raiders is my favorite team.
You would get the Nigerian Nightmare that played on Kansas City. He was pretty fast too. But yeah, dang. That game taught me about football. That was my game that really got me into football. And then it was Joe Montana talk football. and then Madden. And
Ray,
then Madden.
is that the Super Nintendo Mini behind you?
Yes, it is. So I have the NES, the Super Nintendo, and I got the PlayStation, and I have the Sega.
Nice. What did you think of them? Have
I'm
you played? Did you
looking for
open
the
them?
Turbo. I love them all. PlayStation 1 quality was not that great, but the NES
Oh, I've heard.
and the Super Nintendo was freaking
Now-
amazing. TurboGrafx 16, I'm looking for.
Are you looking through your oh, I did that again. Why did I do that? Are you looking at the PS1 graphics with old eyes? And what I mean by that is Jeff mentions it all the time that you can't judge old games with your eyeballs today
No,
everything looks so great.
because if you look at how they did the Super Nintendo and how they did the NES and how they look, and you compare that to the PlayStation was after that, the graphics is just not that great.
So the emulation is bad then?
Yeah,
Or
I don't
weaker
think they
compared to
emulate.
the other ones?
Yeah, because they got
Tekken runs at 50 frames per second.
Yeah, they got like Destruction Derby, and you try and play. It's like no.
So I don't have any of the emulators. Can you save games on those though?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Yes, you
Like-
can.
Yeah, right to the SD card. I'm sure of it.
I spent $40 on an Xbox, the original Xbox, loaded with all the emulators on. Oops, hold on. I hope nobody. Don't emulate, guys. Don't.
You only spent
condone-
40 on yours?
I don't condone
That's an
that.
incredible value.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's-
I mean,
that's
Well,
how
it
you
was the
play
guy. I kept going back and forth, and the guy says, "Okay, we're closing up. You know what, dude? I don't want to. Here, $40," and I gave him 40, and it's got Neo Geo, it's got NES, it's got Sega
4 times
Master
as much.
System. It's got how they got everything on there. And I know Jeff is like, I don't like emulators or ROMs. But hey, if I can't get a Neo Geo, I'm not gonna pay some idiot on eBay all that money. So
No doubt.
I gotta play like Gunstar Heroes and gotta play those games.
And then you could end up spending a whole bunch of money and then get it and still have to repair it and still have to mod it in the way you want. So
Yeah.
it could be a pricey proposition trying to get Neo Geo in your house.
I think I told you guys this before, but I went to a flea market and there was a brand new Sony PlayStation and they only wanted $10 and it was modded.
Damn.
And it was not a scratch, nothing. It was like it just came out of the box.
Nice.
And it's right behind me, and I took that baby home and I opened it up and it had a backup
Burnt game in it?
Castlevania. It had a burnt game. I was like, it's modded?
Yep.
Modded? So
I gave my friend so much shit. I went over to his house and he had a PlayStation, and I sit down and we start playing Star Wars Masters of Te Kasar or something. It's a horrible fighting game. And it's really bad. And anyway, he went to switch discs and he pulled out a burnt disc, and I was like, what in the hell is that? I said, that game is so crap, they didn't even put a label on it. He goes, no, that's my backup. I didn't know nothing about the scene, so I was like, what do you mean backup?
Right.
And he explained it to me, and I was like, oh wow, Sony's gonna lock that down. I thought.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. Interesting times.
Yes.
Yeah, like I have the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. I had the PlayStation, but I returned it after I saw some of like how it was handling the emulation and that sort of thing. Like it was just, I was like, this is not good. It doesn't have the games that I would have chosen, and like not even remotely close. And I was like, this is just not worth it to me. I have no problem with emulation. Kind of play games however you want. I prefer to play on the original hardware. But it's there's only so much money that I'm ever going to get. So,
Right.
But there's great emulation options out there, like the Mister and kind of what it does with FPGAs and that sort of thing is really, really cool. If you want to get like HDMI and the actual, more accurate function out of it, like
PiePacker. What's that?
Sorry?
There's a system called PiePacker that has a bunch
Oh,
of ROMs on it.
Yeah, it's running off like a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
It's like a retro cloud like solution or something. But do you guys think that I know that they went as far as the PlayStation? Do you think they're going to do a Dreamcast one or a Sega Saturn Mini or?
They should. If they were smart, they should.
Hell yeah,
I think so
I'd
too.
buy it. I would buy it in a heartbeat. I'm looking for it. There's a Commodore 64 Mini and the terrible Graphics 16 Mini. I had it in my hand. I said, dude,
Speaking of that-
hold it for me. I'm coming back, and the bastard sold it. I was so mad.
Now this isn't up my alley at all, but you just brought a Commodore up, Ray.
Yeah. What
There's
the hell?
A500 Mini.
Oh my god.
That doesn't quite
With
look
a
like
mouse?
Atari.
With a mouse. Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's so weird.
it's the
Wow.
classic, but it's brand new. It's old new stuff.
There's that Jurassic
Old
Park
new.
one again. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. What?
Yeah, yeah. Look at that controller, man.
Do I still have to launch it from the prompt? Like, do I have to launch
That's-
and then star and
That's interesting. Like the 64
Are
Mini,
those
the
the
retro
games
game,
it comes with?
upload other games to the system too. It's the gift that
Alien
keeps on giving.
Breed, another world.
Battle chess.
Battle chess.
I wonder how pinball would have ran on this system. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
With a mouse.
No doubt.
Worms. Oh my god, worms. I know you guys. I used to love worms.
Chaos Engine. All right, I'm going to quit sharing my screen for a second. And Jeff, would you like to jump into This Week in Retro, sir? If you can hear me and are available.
No.
No. At least he's honest.
Everything is breaking up. I guess more people are checked into the hotel now, so I'm losing bandwidth. So I think you're going to have to throw them up and talk about it. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. It's
You sound
and
perfect right now.
Can you
sound
see
good.
them?
Yeah, you sound perfect.
Right,
Okay,
but
good,
Jeff,
because before that last segment, I have no idea what anybody said. I couldn't hear a thing, and you notice I kept popping in and out. So,
Oh, no.
so
It went
not that I'm
wonderful.
not interested. It's just that the screen, everything keeps going on me, and sometimes you guys all freeze. And
Well, I tell you what, Jeff, if you freeze up, I'll go ahead and take over, but at least start reading off the games, and I'll bring them up as we
Yeah,
get to them.
we got you back, man. We got you back.
all right. So as everyone knows, I do This Week in Retro right before the show, and I produce and I post games that came out on various days, years and years ago. And sometimes some people argue that maybe it's not retro. Anyways, here we go. So on this date, 1992, Pinball Dreams, the Amiga version, was released in the U.S. Then tomorrow, Nightfire, the DOS version. And then you guys were just talking about Pie Pack. Earthworm Jim, one of my old favorites on Pie Packer.
Love
Back
Earthworm
in the-
Jim.
I did play it on Pie Packer, and it's one of the old. So this came out and then a few days later, it came out in the UK.
Earthworm Jim was an amazing game. I had a lot of fun with this when I was a kid.
Awesome platform.
Yeah, I did. Has anybody on the panel completed this game? Because I think maybe I've made it to the second or third level. That's it.
No, I think I made it to the third, and then I just went to the backlog.
I just played Earthworm Jim for the first time since the 90s a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to get further than I've ever done before.
Nice.
And I definitely want to go back and revisit and try to complete it.
does it still hold up in 2020?
I think it does.
Yeah, okay. This
Absolutely.
always seemed like this was an early 90s game, like as much early 90s as you could possibly jam into one game kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely oozing with nostalgia, man. These platformers I could handle. The 3D platformers now, like parts of like Doom Eternal, drove me insane. But I could handle this stuff. All right, Jeff, if you're still with us, go ahead, sir.
I missed everything everybody just said.
All right.
We just
All
finished
right.
with Earthworm Jim.
Okay, I missed everything everybody said. I could see the little things flashing. I know you were talking, but I have no idea what it said. Okay, Pac-Man. So on the 16th, Pac-Man was released. I think this is everyone's favorite on the Atari 2600. Maybe not.
Classic.
It's a classic,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look
Yeah.
like Pac-Man from the arcade, does
No.
it?
Yeah, the Atari can't do this.
This looks like the Family Value brand of Pac-Man a little
Yep.
bit. But all the games on Atari had a little charm, though. Like even the Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, was one of my favorite Atari games.
It was a popular, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading up about this game because it's not a good version of Pac-Man, but I was like,
No.
why is it like this? Like you're taking the arcade game and putting it here, and it was the Atari couldn't handle that number of sprites moving on the screen at once, so they drew half of them in one frame, the other half in the other frame, so it's just like this constant flicker of all the ghosts as they're drawn and undrawn. I'm like, oh, that's why it is awful.
Holy crap!
But give us your money anyway.
Yeah, it's Atari.
Yep.
Yeah. He took us.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim. It still holds up. Awesome.
That's good to hear. That one was always one that I was like, hey, that Earthworm Jim cannot possibly still be good 30 years later, but I'm happy to hear it is.
Fantastic.
I played it on Pipe Packer on one of my Retro Friday nights when I was struggling with bad internet at my parents' house before I upgraded it, and it played really well. And everybody coming in going, "Wait, remember this game?" That was one of my. Everyone loved when I was playing that, and everyone remembered nostalgically. All right, so what on 1981 on St. Patrick's Day? I don't think St. Patrick's Day was big in the 80s. Race car driving simulator with car graphics on the SOL-20. I'd forgotten about this. And the same with the next one, the Wang 2200. Poor Will never even heard of a Wang.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know everybody in '75 played with their Wang. I didn't realize that.
Nice.
That was the only thing to do back then.
I remember everybody Wang Chung tonight. Is that
yeah.
Say it's your only toy. Don't break it.
Wait, is that what that meant?
I think I was the only one here alive in 1975.
I was
the Wang.
there in '75, but I was just a baby.
Look at that thing. It looks like something that NASA beamed back the moon footage. And like,
Yikes.
that is a giant Wang.
Where's the gamepad at?
I don't know. Maybe it was a mouse and a keyboard.
Gmail, that's too much information, bro. We don't need to know that.
But yeah, this thing looks incredible, man. It looks almost like old school future tech, what they thought the future would look like,
like tech noir.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that? What was that movie?
Would you
War
like
game.
Took a
to play
cassette.
a game?
Cassette.
Oh yeah,
Now you're playing with power.
taping, yeah.
What?
So fancy.
Hello.
You had to really manipulate the Wang to get it going. All right. Sorry, but what in the hell? Load list. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I wouldn't have patience to deal with that Wang.
Jeff, you played games like this, huh? Free space, 7 kilobytes.
That's way too much. No thanks.
No doubt.
I mean, that's no different than what you experience now with having to install and download the updates for a game. So pretty much back to where we started.
Wow, 75. Ooh, Star Command.
Jeff's back. We just got done looking at the Wang, Jeff. The Wang 2200.
The podcast has changed here.
Yeah,
Right?
it has. All right, I'm going to take over for Jeff. I think he's having an issue. So we had Star Trek on the Wang 2200, Star Command on version 1 DOS in '88. That's an old one right there, Star Command. Earth Siege 2. Now, I brought this up, and this is how it would launch, it looks like. I don't know. Oh, that's a README. Maybe that's not how it's going to launch. Oh, they are doing the line. What are you doing? Get the game going, brah. Here we go.
Wow.
I never played this. I don't know anything about this title, but it is definitely old school.
It reminds me of an old PlayStation game. Was it called Skyhawk?
Almost
You
like
remember that?
Shockwave.
Was it for the
3DO.
360 or not the 360, the Xbox? or one of the PlayStations. It was called like not BattleTech. You had a giant controller.
Steel
that was-
Battalion.
Steel
yeah.
Battalion.
Oh,
Xbox.
you had to buy all that stuff though.
I did.
The controller. You bought that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my
I sure
God.
did. I did. I bought Steel Battalion with that giant controller, and let me tell you, that game was very hard to play because you literally had like 1,000 little buttons, and you had to know what you were doing.
I always like that they had the eject button under glass there. You had to flick up the thing to hit it.
Yeah, and it glowed. It had a light.
Yeah. Yeah.
was
Didn't it work for
fantastic.
Mech? Didn't it work for like a Mech Warrior game or not? Probably not.
I don't think the controller was multi-use. I think it was
Yeah, I
just
don't
for
think
that
it was.
game.
Okay.
And then they came out with a sequel to the game, and they changed the controller because it was so massive. They made it to where you could play it with a regular controller, I think.
Wasn't that a Kinect game?
Yeah, I think you're right. You did have to use your hands or something.
Yeah.
Because the Kinect really never worked great. So
No.
a lot of people got frustrated with that title.
Wow.
Absolutely. Earth Siege 2, and then here is the last three. The Need for Speed. Now, I brought this up because I've got all kinds of memories from the original PlayStation Need for Speed game.
I remember Road and Track.
Yeah, Road and Track.
God, I
Need for
sucked
Speed.
at these games.
Wow. I love the police car chasing you.
Hot Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite Need for Speed game. Just the way the cops would just try to wreck you, man. It was just amazing. It was a lot of fun. So your PlayStation emulation doesn't look this good, huh?
Nope.
It'd be interesting to find out how they made that system.
That still looks pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics for that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Need for
I was
Speed
looking at
was
video of Gran Turismo 1 with 7 coming out, and I was like, man, that game looks really good still.
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, Jeff's back.
Sorry,
Yeah,
folks. I switched to my hotspot, so this should be a little better now. I've got my hotspot connected up.
Awesome.
All right.
Oh, Need for Speed. Oh, excellent. That's where we are. Cool.
Yeah, go ahead and say whatever you wanted to about it. We just got done saying that we really enjoyed the Need for Speed series.
Big Need for Speed fan. I think Hot Pursuit was maybe my favorite, but I can't. There was a whole bunch of them.
That's funny you say that. We just got done saying that. That Hot Pursuit was our favorite.
Yep.
So there you go. There's the Earthworm version that came out for Europe. That came out a few days later. Same thing with the Need for Speed. So on the 20th it came out, and then on the 22nd it came out in the UK. So I put that as a little side note. Guess it took longer to mail it over there or something. And then 3D Tetris for the Virtual Boy. We were talking about the Virtual Boy earlier. So
Yeah, no doubt.
Now I
Did
got
you
the
ever,
Tetris song in my head.
Donnie? Did you what? Let me get you up here for a quick minute. What are some of your the titles that you like for the Virtual Boy? The Virtual Boy gets a horrible name. A lot of people can't use it because they get headaches or they,
Right.
Do you use it?
I use it sparingly. Every once in a while, I'll break it out. My kids will play it. Well, I've got Mario Tennis, Teleboxer, and then I think a pinball game for it. But my library for the Virtual Boy is very slim, very few. Right up here, you can see Mario Clash. I got that off of Play Asia like a year and a half ago. I still haven't played it. I just got it and put it on the shelf. It looks pretty there. But yeah, not really. I haven't really played a lot of the titles. They don't really have a lot of games for the Virtual Boy. I think the one that's the super most expensive is Jack Brothers.
Jack Brothers. Okay.
Yeah, but as far as like playing a lot of games, my experience with that is very little.
Yeah, my friend said that the only way he can play it is to lay down.
I can't play it.
Like rest it on his head or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts your neck a little bit when you got your head in there and whatnot, and then you bring your eyes out and everything's like red for a second. You're just like, okay. Is this
Yeah.
going to
See
go
the
back to
shapes
normal?
for like 10
Yeah.
minutes afterwards.
I tell you what, I was infatuated with the Virtual Boy until I walked up to a display where it was sitting out and you could put your face to it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did, I went, oh, that's kind of a neat gimmick. And then I thought, there's no color. I don't want it.
Right.
Like-
It's just all red.
Yes,
Right.
all red, one color.
If it was as colorful as the Super Nintendo, oh my God, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
That would have been they would have knocked it out of the park.
Yep. But red, nope.
Yeah, the red was bad. They had a few gaming systems that tried to use that type of technology, but they never really took off or anything. Let's see. That is incredible. But yeah, Donnie, I love the collection there, man. How long do you think it took you to amass your collection?
Well, like I said, I've been collecting since the 90s, like small stuff here and there. But it's really taken me, I'd say, probably about 7 years to really put forth a concerted effort with growing the collection, buying and selling lots like I do, finding people off Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and even Reddit of all places. Last September, somebody posted on a retro gaming Reddit subreddit that they had bought a whole bunch of stuff at an estate sale. They were forced to buy it as part of this audio equipment that they wanted. They were audiophiles. So he was posting stuff like a big TurboGrafx collection, Sega Genesis, all those Sega Genesis, most of those right there, all of those, you name it, N64, Dreamcast, some stuff like that, Saturn. I said, look, if you want to offload this, your best bet, he was in Green Bay. I said, Midwest Gaming Classic is in Milwaukee. Take the stuff down there. You'll definitely sell it. And there were people on there saying, I'll give you $200 for it. Yeah, I'll give you $300, whatever. This guy easily had $5,000 worth of stuff. He's like, I will, if you're going there, I will sell it to you for $1,000. I'm like, okay. And it gets closer to the date. And I'm like, something's going to happen. He's going to duck out. This deal is going to fall through. Somebody else is going to get a hold of it. But I traveled up to the Midwest Gaming Classic in November of last year, took both of my kids, did the deal, handed him $1,000, and I brought a whole bunch of stuff home for my collection.
Nice, man. Nice. All of these consoles have some people still develop for some of these. Now,
yes.
Like for real. And one thing I'm going to show you, it's not a guy developing a game. I've never heard of this before. So this kind of surprised me a little bit. Like I said, the more I dive into retro, I think I know a lot. And then the more I learn a lot, at the same time. But have you ever heard of a Nintendo 64 music cartridge? It's an album. Somebody is dropping an album onto the Nintendo 64.
Too preoccupied with if they could, didn't think if they should. Here we go again.
Where's your album dropping? Is it dropping on Spotify, iTunes? Man, the N64, that's where I'm dropping it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not exclusive, is it?
It is.
I think it is,
looks
man.
like it.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Now,
it's literally called R64.
If I share my audio, I think we'll get an echo, and I've had enough problems to stream, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to show you the video. This is the actual artist who made this song or made the music, and there is examples online if you want to go listen. But here's him doing he's doing a reveal of his album. It's kind of crap quality. He got the 64. He's acting like he got it for Christmas, and then he's showing his.
I like the onesie. Right?
He looks like a young Jeff with a mustache.
That's awesome.
I thought that was the weirdest thing I had ever seen in my life.
Check that out after the stream. I gotta hear
it. Why?
I think I'd like to see.
It is 8-bit. It has to be.
I would think so.
Very
Donnie. Little Donnie.
I'd like
little
to see someone
Donnie
do that with,
appearance.
We love animals.
I think I'd like to see someone do that album release with like Sega CD or like a CD system, so that they could do like the Crisscross or CNC Music Factory.
Yes, make the video.
Remember that.
That would be dope. Here's something else that'll blow your mind. I just got a couple tabs open up. We're about to end, but check this out. This blew my mind. I love Atari, man, and I like sneakers, but I'm not. I would never, ever.
What is that?
Nope. NFTs can die in a fire.
NFT sneakers.
But those do look dope.
I mean, they do, man. It looks like you could get up to 88 miles per hour and go back in time.
I think you were just about ready to ask who would wear those. I would wear those.
Dude,
The flux capacitor comes included.
dude,
Right.
if they can do
Oh!
the pump on the shoe,
I didn't see the pink. You wouldn't sport
Oh,
that,
it's
Miss
purple!
Tracey. Or purple.
pink and purple.
Wow.
I've got a closet full of Reebok pump shoes there, Ray.
Now that would be.
Donnie, turn them into
Wow.
NFTs, dude, and
Okay,
start
that's
making some
Right.
cool. The
coins.
asteroids.
Wow.
I could see a 6-year-old thinking they were the coolest thing on the block wearing
Yup.
these. You know?
That looks like kind of shoes I'd get from Target or Kmart back in the day, or Venture.
Yeah.
Go to store,
Yeah, with
like,
all the
look at my
bright-
Spider-Man shoes. Look at my asteroid shoes.
Yeah.
And they light up when you
I
walk.
kind of like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'd wear that one.
Interesting.
You can't wear them, it says. Aw.
Oh, you can't?
Can't
No.
Oh,
wait.
wait,
Oh.
scroll back up. Scroll back up for a second, Will. A little bit higher, a little bit more. Scroll up a little bit. It said, nope, a little bit more. Right there. It said they're available to try on via Snapchat, but that's as far as it goes, it says. It says they
Can't wear them.
wear them.
On Snap, what is that, like an app that'll put it around your foot?
Yeah.
It sounds like a filter.
Boo.
Wow. All right. Moving on.
Sounds about right for Atari.
Can't even put that on, man.
Nope, they're not real. Didn't think
Um,
so because they were NFTs. But Donnie, convert your pumps into NFTs. Start making some coins.
Nope. I will not take part in that. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Here's something else that's a little interesting. I am not big into coffee table books, but I didn't know that they had retro coffee table books.
Oh yeah.
And I think these look cool, man. 11 of the best retro gaming books for 2022 for your coffee table, but I found a special one, I think. Retro video games, the 100 greatest retro video games, the inside stories behind the best games ever made in hardcover.
Ooh.
I would like to have
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I would, man.
Yeah.
It's got
We've done
awesome
these.
artwork.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
but
at that.
really good.
Look at
We've
that.
done these. We've done these top 10, top 100, top 50, and they're all subjective. And
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. But still, being
You know?
able to glean the historical
Yes.
information on how the games came to be, what people's thought process were.
I
Like we just
played
had Howard
games
Scott
crazy.
Warshaw on our podcast the
I
other
saw
day,
that.
and he
I
was
saw that
he was
episode,
talking about the developing Yar's Revenge and developing E.T. and working with Steven Spielberg, and then
Wow.
subsequently what happened with the E.T. the Extraterrestrial. So it's fun to get those kind of glimpses from the people who made these games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now E.T. was incredibly rushed, but like the way they had the dividing screens and the world was built, I mean, it was ahead of its time actually.
Oh yeah.
It just, it fell flat, of course, and almost if you believe the hype, it almost ruined Atari, but I think they were on their way out. by
Well,
the
yeah,
time
it put the nail in the coffin, because with Atari, you kept getting, if you looked at the cover art on the boxes and the actual cartridges, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be transported into this
Yes.
world where like it's going to be this movie, and then you pop it in and it's a block just moving on the screen, and
the
you're just like,
trailer for the game was way worse than the box art because it made you feel like you were going to be like
Right.
hanging out with
Yeah,
E.T.
E.T. commercial.
yeah,
You remember the
Yeah.
E.T. commercial?
I do.
And I ran Christmas. My friend, I got it. I ran to my friend's house, we put it in, and we were like, "What in the hell?
let's just
What
go play
is
cat.
this?" Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got one more question for both of you guys before we go, and let everybody know where you're at, what you'll be doing. What is a game that you had as a kid that only as an adult or later you grew to appreciate it? Like as an example, Blaster Master. When I first got that game, I did not like it. And then I figured out, hey, you can get out of your car. Oh, you can upgrade your
Yeah.
car. Like, I didn't know how to play it. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what I mean. Is there any games that you guys played as a kid you revisited, or later on you ended up appreciating?
or vice versa, one that you loved as a kid but hate now.
Hate now. It didn't hold up. Doesn't stand up no more.
I think
Oh. What you
For me-
sharing, Ray? I got your full
Oh.
screen for a second.
Loaded.
Loaded, nice.
Back then I was like, oh, it's a top down. Oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna like a top down. And then played it, loved it. And I actually went and picked that. I drove down to LA to get this copy of this game because my old one broke. And Now, yeah, I can't play that now. I can't play it.
Yeah, I'd say mine was Blaster Master. Yours is Loaded.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Jeff?
I don't really. If I loved it as a kid, I still love it now. If I hated it as a kid, I still hate it.
Still
I
hate
really
it now?
haven't really. There was some game like I'm not a first-person shooter, as anyone who knows me knows that and I also don't like scary, games like the Resident Evils and things like that. So I won't even play them. And you guys have played PUBG, and you guys have seen me in Red Dead, and you're like, I'm just no good at those. I never was any good. I've gotten worse as I gotten. That's exactly.
You're good. You're good at taking care of your horse, Jeff.
Yeah. And I'll
Brushing him and feeding him.
I'll come and revive you every time. Raise down. I will come over and I will revive him.
His horse Sparkles, folks. I shot in Red Dead.
Everybody has shot Sparkles in Red Dead.
I sure did. I think I threw
Everybody has.
Red Dead controls just never stick for me. So like the first time I always get on my horse, I run up to him and punch him right in the face.
I do it every time I punch him in the butt and he kicks me.
Yeah.
And then he kicks you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blazing Saddles.
I was playing with Jeff, or Jeff was streaming, and he was playing Red Dead one day. He was having a bad day. I didn't know. I jump in the game, I pop out of nowhere, and I shoot him and his horse and light his horse on fire. And all you hear is, and then Jeff goes, oh, man. I'm like, whoa. Jeff, what's the matter?
Did it again.
That made my highlight of the month. That did make my highlight of the month.
It did. He put it on his channel.
Yep.
But just the horse's noise and then his reaction. I laughed really hard, and then my wife was
heavy
like,
sigh.
no, he's serious. I was like, oh, shit.
Yep.
Oh,
okay.
man.
Anyways, to answer the question, Wes.
I think for me, it's going to be it's going to be two, actually. And it's become one of my favorite genres. Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I did not like either one of those games when I first played them, when they came out, and now I love them. I don't know what's changed about my sensibilities or just kind of my way of approaching games, but those games, just when I first played them, I'm like, I don't see it. This is not enjoyable. This is not fun. I don't like it in any way. Why am I not Simon Belmont? Why am I like running around all over the place and backtracking? And now it's just
They were tough.
There's such an enjoyment that I get out of just Metroidvanias in general. That I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid, but they just did not click with me.
Well, usually games I didn't understand as a kid, I didn't like. But Simon's Quest, I love that game because of the music and the world exploration. I couldn't do shit in like story wise. I didn't know some of those secrets, but
there's a lot you could do that wasn't the story.
Correct. Yeah. I love that game.
The translations didn't help in that game either.
No, not at all.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Some of those clues were god awful.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Donnie?
Two of the games that I actually tried to love as a kid were Deja Vu and Shadowgate.
Nice.
Because I like the whole role playing type adventure that it was. But I went back and actually played those two games a couple of years ago and beat Deja Vu and Shadowgate. But I had to have help because I felt stupid back then as a kid, and I felt stupid as an adult. Like, what do you want me to push on here? What do I have to hit or knock or do whatever? And when you're trying to do every option under the sun with every single pixel on the screen, it becomes tiresome. And it's a lot like the Secrets of Monkey Island. I love the games, but sometimes
with Thurbrush or whatever his name is.
Guybrush Threepwood. They're like, you need to be in this certain quirkiness state of mind to really know that. Oh, you have to put this hepacac in this thing to make this vomit. Like, who even knows what hepacac is?
Or it's like,
this rubber chicken needs to have a pulley in the middle of it, and
exactly.
then
it'll. This is just an example.
Literally a solution,
and it's a horrible example, but it's like put the chicken in the pot with a radish. Now you get a key. Now you can open that door.
Who would have thought about that?
Yeah, it's incredible that game.
And it wasn't as easy to look up and get cheats back in the day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, now it's so easy.
Matter of fact, way back in the day, I bought it wasn't called Nintendo Power, but it was a Nintendo code book and a tips and tricks book. I think I'm crashing. Maybe not.
No, that you got something playing in the background.
Yeah, I hear like reverb and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I think you got a YouTube video or something you still got on.
I don't have any audio on those videos.
That's better.
But
Yeah, there
anyway,
you
okay, cool. Forgot what I was saying. Sorry.
No
I
worries.
forgot you're saying too.
But anyway, yeah, this has been a lot of fun, guys. We're going to go around and we're going to hear what you're going to be doing and where they can find you. So starting with you, Donnie, where are you going to be, sir?
I'll be all over the place. Anyone can find me on Twitter. I also do Twitch at Donnie G Retro, so that's both places. The podcast that I'm a part of with Blue Williams and Retro Game Brews is called Gamers Week Podcast, and you can find that on Twitter at Gamers Week PC and on Twitch.
Awesome, man. Awesome. How about you, Wes?
I'm going to be all over Twitter and Twitch for the most part. You can find me on Twitter at Diabolic Sabin. That's DIABOLICSABIN. You can also find me on Twitch at that same thing. I also do a weekly show with some friends, including Willie Lowe. And that's Raw Games with 2 W's. On Twitch, we generally just play whatever we want multiplayer. So it's just a group of us getting together and just trying to kind of recapture that feeling of, the guys in the basement or the kids in the basement or at the arcade, just playing games and having fun and just talking mess about everything.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, man. Well, that's
Terry,
awesome. I'm glad you guys spent some time with us today, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're gonna have Terry is gonna be on the show in a couple of weeks. Because I met him in your chat. One of those.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Terry Bouchard. Yeah, so he's going to be on, and he's a little younger, and we've got another guy that's going to kind of younger too. So we'll see. We'll have to. So we're going to go a little younger to see what the younger people are thinking, because I think he's mid-20s. I think he said.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He's a younger guy. He's a good guy. Like knows his games. He's really great.
We have another guy, Suave. He's again a little younger too. So we're gonna have like a younger episode. Not that we're super old. Well, I am.
And I want to let everybody know as well that Wes and Donnie's links are down in the description. If you'd like to go over and support them, even the Gaming with Friends link is on there. I do not have your podcast link though, Donnie, so I'll have to add that.
Okay, yeah, I can send it over to you via chat or Twitter.
Awesome, man. All right, Jeff, where can people find you? What are you going to be doing, man?
I was Monday nights I usually do my community play, but it's been proven that I cannot do that from a hotel room. So I'm not gonna do a stream tomorrow night. I was gonna do some more. I wanted to smash up Ray in my bus, but I proved I cannot do that from this hotel room. We proved that today. So I don't think I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow night, but Wednesday I'll be back, and Friday nights back doing some retro stuff. And I am going to be rolling out a new little YouTube. I haven't quite figured out if it's going to be a YouTube short or exactly what the format is, but I want to do something like things you bought new, but is now retro. So, obviously your PlayStation 1s, but I also got some 8-track tapes and I've got other stuff. So I want to do a little series on things you bought new, but is now retro.
Right on, man.
What that's going to look like yet, I'm still trying to develop what that's going to look like. But Ray, where can we find you?
Ray3473. I am the gaming cyborg. You can find me on Twitter. I'm Ray3473 on Twitch, and then Ray Sherrod on YouTube. Tonight, guys, I'm streaming WWE 2K22. Tomorrow, I'll be doing some PUBG, and then you can back with Rock. Rock and John Scar and Stadia Pro will be doing the review in Stadia. And
Stadia rocks.
Stadia Rock, yeah. And then I do a show, Cloud Nation TV, with Dr. Spaceman, Vet, Maker Chaos, and JD. That's what I'm doing. And shout out to the wonderful guests, man. Thank you for sharing your stories and your games,
Thank you for having us.
It's been awesome. I love talking about the good old days and good old games.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Anytime.
Absolutely. And Miz Tracey, where can people find you? And thank you for being so festive today. I think your outfit was gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a big thing with dressing up for the holidays. I'm on Twitch mostly. I mean, I have all my links on my Twitch. You can find me on Discord and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff too. But I mostly stream on Twitch. I am going to be doing Halo tonight with the side of the game called Poetry for Neanderthals, where there's a big inflatable bat somewhere in my room, and I have to get chat to guess I have to get them to guess words, but only using single syllables.
Oh, that should be
Or
fun.
I get hit with the no stick with the bat. So it's a very interesting stream. And then we do like Halo in between bouts of that Poetry for Neanderthals. Tuesday, I'll be back on Conan Exiles, which I'm super hooked on. Just started playing that like a week ago. Still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm loving it. Also doing Ark. We did some Fallout last week. Could play a variety of games on there. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome.
And William, where can we find you?
I'm SPG. You're at my channel, so you know where to find me. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12 to 2 p.m. And every other Sunday, you can find me here with these fine folks for some Retro Rewind. And every Tuesday at 11 CST, we do the Stadia Rock show with Ray Sherrod, Rock, John Scar, and myself. And that should be a lot of fun. And thank all of you guys that are continuing to support Retro Rewind Season 2. And thank you guys all for hanging out. We appreciate you very much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.